Now second type is Frankel defect in the ionic solid. Now in case of Frankel defect, the smaller cation, it is missing from the regular lattice site and occupies interstitial position. Examples: silver chloride, silver bromide, silver iodide, zinc sulfide, potassium bromide and calcium fluoride. In these solids there is a possibility of Frankel defect. Now look at this diagram: anion, cation, anion. Now here cation is missing, the same cation occupying the interstitial position. Now from here also, actually these are the anions and here there should be a cation, but cation is missing from here and occupies the interstitial position, this interstitial position. So in Frankel defect, cations are missing from their original site and occupy the interstitial position. Now why only cations are occupying the interstitial position? Reason is cations are smaller than anions and therefore only cations are suitable to fit in the interstitial positions. Normally cations gets dislocated. What are the conditions for Frankel defect? First condition is anion must have low coordination number, that is it may be a 6 or 8. Then cations are much smaller than the anions. Cations must be much smaller than the anions. What are the consequences of the Frankel defect? As there is a dislocation of cation from one place to other, mass and density of crystal remains the same and electrical neutrality is also maintained. Now second point defect, that is impurity defects. Impurity defect can be substitutional or substitution impurity defect and interstitial impurity defect. In case of substitution impurity defect, regular atom is replaced by impurity atom. What it means? Consider the copper metal. In copper metal, copper atoms are the regular atoms, and when some of the copper atoms are replaced by zinc atoms, these are the impurity atoms, then resulting crystal will be defective, and that type of defect is called as substitution impurity defect. Example, especially brass alloy, which is the alloy of copper and zinc. Now second type, that is interstitial impurity defect. Now here impurity atom occupies the interstitial site. Example, stainless steel. Now here the regular atoms are iron, Fe, so their positions are as it is, there is no change. But here the carbon atoms, these are occupying the interstitial sites. Carbon atoms are the impurity atoms and these are occupying the interstitial sites, and therefore this type of defect is called as interstitial impurity defect. Difference between these two is, in first case some of the regular sites of copper or atoms of copper are vacant or these are replaced by zinc atoms, but here such a type of replacement is not there. Impurity atom occupies the interstitial site. So these are the impurity defects. Now third type, that is non-stoichiometric defects. Non-stoichiometric defect arises when the ratio of number of cations to anions become different from that in chemical formula. There are two types of non-stoichiometric defects. One is metal deficiency defect and other is metal excess defect. So first type is metal deficiency defect. So this is observed in compounds having metal ion of variable oxidation state. For example, nickel is having variable oxidation state, Ni+2 and Ni+3. So this type of defect observed in the compound having a metal ion of variable oxidation state. Now here in this case, or in this type of defect, one cation is missing and its positive charge is compensated by other cation of its higher oxidation state. For example, in nickel oxide there is a metal deficiency defect. Actually this is non-stoichiometric solid. Stoichiometry is not 1:1. Nickel 0.97 and oxygen is 1. So this is non-stoichiometric solid. Now here you can see the arrangement of cations and anions, Ni+2, O-. So cations, anions arranged regularly, but here there is a deficiency of Ni2+. So this is the vacancy of cation, that is here there is a expected to Ni2+, but Ni2+ is missing from this position. So two positive charges should be here in order to have a electrical neutrality. So these two positive charges are compensated by these two Ni3+ cations, Ni3+, Ni3+. Altogether these two cations have two positive charges extra that will compensate the vacancy created over here, positive charge of vacancy of Ni2+. So this is metal deficiency defect. Now next type is metal excess defect. So this can be possible by three ways. One way is, first example is zinc oxide. In zinc oxide there is a metal excess defect. So sometimes there is a extra neutral metal atom occupies interstitial site. Consider this first diagram. Zn2+ and O2-, that is zinc cation and oxide, these are arranged regularly, alternately like that. But here there is a neutral zinc atom, it occupies the interstitial site. This is the metal excess defect. Actually there is no question of disturbance of electrical neutrality, because this zinc is overall, it is a zinc atom which is electrically neutral, and therefore positive and negative charges are balanced. Another way of generating or creation of metal excess defect is cation occupies interstitial site and extra positive charge because of this interstitial cation, it is compensated by two electrons. Example of this type of defect is also zinc oxide. Difference between first and second type is, in first cases there is an extra neutral zinc atom, but here there is an extra zinc cation, and therefore if these two extra electrons are not there, then there will be imbalance between positive and negative charges, and this imbalance, it is maintained or compensated by extra electrons. So this interstitial cation or extra cation, positive charge of this extra cation, it is compensated by two extra electrons. Now another way of generation of metal excess defect is, sometimes there is a anion vacancy. This is very rare case. Sometimes there is a anion vacancies, and if there is an anion vacancy, automatically there will be extra positive charge or metal excess. metal excess defect. So when sodium chloride is heated, anion vacancies are created, and these vacancies are occupied by electrons, and such a centers or vacancies, these are called as F centers or colored centers. Example is sodium chloride. So this is the metal excess defect. Now next section of this chapter, that is the electrical properties of solids. On the basis of electrical conductivity, solids are classified as conductors, semiconductors and insulators. These are the three types of solids. What are the conductors? The solids which allows the passage of electric current, they are called as conductors. Now conductivity of the conductors or these types of solids, it is in between 10 to the power 4 to the 10 to the power 7 per ohm per meter. Now conductivity of these conductors decreases with temperature. Examples, most of the metals are electrical conductors. Electrolytes, these are good conductors of heat and electricity. Now another type is insulators. What are insulators? The solids which do not allow the passage of electric current, these are called as insulators. Now conductivity of insulator ranges from 10 raised to minus 20 to 10 raised to minus 10 per ohm per meter. Important thing is conductivity of insulator, it is independent of temperature, and the examples are wood, glass, plastic and diamond. And third type of solid is semiconductors. The solids whose conductivity lies between conductors and insulators, these are called as semiconductors. The conductivity of semiconductor ranges from 10 raised to minus 6 to 10 raised to 4 per ohm per meter. And most important thing is conductivity of semiconductor increases with increase in temperature. Examples, all the metalloids like silicon, germanium, these are the semiconductors. So there are three solids, that is conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Now the band theory. What band theory? So electrical properties of metallic conductors, insulators and semiconductors, it is explained on the basis of band theory. Now according to molecular orbital theory, interaction of atomic orbitals of combining atoms at the time of formation of molecule or at the time of formation of metal, there is an interaction of atomic orbitals of combining atoms which results in the formation of molecular orbitals. And molecular orbitals can be bonding molecular orbitals and anti-bonding molecular orbitals. Actually, at the time of formation of bonding molecular orbitals, there will be half number of bonding molecular orbitals whose energy will be less, and there will be half number of anti-bonding molecular orbitals whose energy will be higher. Now it results in the formation of upper empty high energy conduction band of anti-bonding orbitals and lower filled low energy valence band of bonding molecular orbitals. So in the crystal there is a formation of upper conduction band and lower valence band, and the gap between these two, it is called as band gap. So band gap is the energy difference between valence band and conduction band.